Hello everyone, my name is Alyssa and I am a Project Support Coordinator with Green Iowa AmeriCorps. This program is provided through a partnership between the East Central Iowa Council of Governments, Green Iowa AmeriCorps, and Matthew 25. It is sponsored by the Benton County Landfill, Iowa County Landfill, Jones County Transfer Station, and Tama County Landfill. Today we're going to read The Case of the Stinky Stench, written by Josh Funk and illustrated by Brendan Kearney. I wonder who's causing the stinky stench. The Case of the Stinky Stench. Back in the kitchen and deep in the fridge, past Trifle Tower, across Taco Bridge, on a vacation at Marshmallow Coast, sat Lady Pancake beside Sir French Toast. Knocking down syrup from northern Vermont, over the bridge came Inspector Croissant. "Uncle," Croissant said, "the fridge is in trouble. A horrible stench turned our whole shelf to rubble. I'm the last hope, or the fridge will be lost. Help me, or else we'll be cooked, served, and sauced." Nefarious odors began wafting by, as French Toast replied, "I will certainly try." "I've got to succeed," said Croissant with a sob. "I've solved 0 cases since getting this job." "It's Baron von Waffle, that devious square," said Pancake with anger. "Let's head to his lair." They started their search crossing Salsa Ravine and lumbered through smog around Mount Everbean. Slowly they crept to the Onion Ring Cave. "Baron von Waffle," said Toast, "you old knave." "What are you doing here?" Waffle said, sneering. "I'm sleuthing," Croissant said, "and you're interfering. What do you know about smells that are vicious?" "Nothing," said Waffle. "My home smells delicious." "Nephew," said Toast, "Waffle's right. It smells splendid." The trio trudged out, but the case hadn't ended. "The smell's getting worse," said Croissant with a shiver, as Tater Tots stumbled through Applesauce River. An okra popped out of a red curry dish and said, "There's a tale of a stinky red fish who lurks at the bottom of Corn Chowder Lake." "Great," said Croissant as he chirped by mistake. Rowing their fastest with carrot stick oars, they studied the depths and they scanned all the shores. "Ahoy!" cried Croissant, "a red herring right there!" At last they'd unraveled this stinky affair. They paddled on forward, but as the boat neared, a flavorful smoky aroma appeared. It seemed the red herring was just a bad clue. Dejected, the 3 didn't know what to do. "It's time to give up," Pancake said with remorse. "No," said Croissant, "I'll discover the source." Inspector Croissant took a mighty big whiff. "The odor is coming from Casserole Cliff." Peppers lay slumping and apples were dented. Plums shrank to prunes and the beans had fermented. That's when they saw it, the source of their woe. An old moldy fruitcake from 8 months ago. "Someone destroy him," said Pancake, "right now." "Sure," replied Toast, "but I can't fathom how." The fruitcake just cowered, alone looking scared. "Life isn't all bowls of cherries," he shared. "I entered the fridge, but then soon was forgotten. Slowly I crumbled, now I'm just rotten." "This is my case," said Croissant. "I'll prevail. Everyone knows fruitcakes never go stale. How would you like being left to decay? This is no villain. Let's help him. Make way." Together they journeyed past cliff, lake, and cave, and offered the fruitcake a shower and shave. Soon the old fruitcake was fresh as could be. "What's that delectable smell?" asked Miss Bree. With all nasty odors destroyed and dissolved, the team celebrated and shouted, "Case solved." The end. Did you recognize any of the food in the book? How about some breakfast foods like pancakes, French toast, and waffles? Or what about tater tots and okra? Has anyone here heard of the culprit fruitcake? Who here has tried croissant? Was it also an inspector? Why did the fruitcake start to smell while the other foods didn't? Well, he had stayed in the fridge too long. Food that is stored in the wrong conditions or for too long can start to smell and go bad. It's important to keep food correctly, otherwise it'll go bad. Why should we care if our food goes bad? That's called food waste. Food waste is when food gets thrown away because it has gone bad or it's past its expiration date. About 30% of food gets thrown away. However, a good portion of that food can still be eaten. We shouldn't waste food. There are so many people, including kids, who go hungry every night, even here in the United States. We don't want food to go to the landfill because it creates methane when we put it there. Methane is dangerous for the environment and the people who work at a landfill, and we want to protect them too. Well, what can we do about it? First, we can learn about expiration dates. Expiration dates are the dates that get stamped on your packaged food. There is only one expiration date people should follow strictly, and that is for baby formula and baby food. Just because it's past the date doesn't mean it's bad. Most expiration dates are just a suggestion, so make sure you check with your eyes and nose before eating it. If it looks and smells okay, then it's most likely okay to eat. You can always ask an adult if you're not sure if it smells or looks normal. If you don't want to eat it, but it still looks okay, you can bring it to a food pantry and someone else will eat it. If you have too much food, you can donate to a pantry or give it to someone you know. When I buy too many apples, I put that bag of apples in my car to give out to people who will eat them instead of throwing them away. I could give them to family, neighbors, or friends. You can do the same if you cook more food than you're able to eat. Try to avoid food waste in the first place by going through the refrigerator and pantry before buying more food. I make a meal plan based on what I have first, then decide if I should buy more food. Eating leftovers from big recipes or from going out to eat at a restaurant is a great way to reduce food waste. You can also put extra food in the freezer to eat another time. By freezing overripe bananas or avocados, you can save them to make smoothies with later. If you have too much of something, could it be preserved or pickled like cucumbers or dried like apples? If food is bruised or getting moldy, you can sometimes cut off the bad parts, just like they do with the fruitcake in the book. What are some examples of things you can cut the bad parts off of? How about cheese, apples, and other fruits and veggies? Not all foods can be saved though. Spoiled milk, meat, eggs, and other meats and foods like that should not be eaten to ensure food safety. If you can't eat, cook, or preserve something, you could put appropriate food waste in a compost bin in your backyard instead of the trash. This helps reduce the amount of food going into the landfill. Things like vegetables and fruit peelings are great things to put in a compost. Let's practice reducing food waste. Here we have a banana that has some brown spots on it. Some of you might think that this banana has gone bad and shouldn't be eaten anymore. But if we peel it, we will see that the banana is still perfectly fine. It has a little bit of brown on the top and maybe right here, but we could just take that part off and still eat it. If the banana has a lot of brown spots, we could also save it and use it to make something like banana bread. Here we have some carrot and potato peelings. What could you do with these? If you or someone you know has a pet like rabbits or rats, you can actually save the peelings to give the animals as a snack. You could also put the peelings in a compost bin or save them to make vegetable broth. Just make sure you put them in the freezer until they are ready to use, otherwise they might start to stink or go bad. Here we have a can of tomato sauce that is past its expiration date. Since we learned that expiration dates are typically just a suggestion, We can open up the can, and if it still looks and smells okay, we can still use it. Another thing you could do is donate it to a food pantry where someone else will take and use it. Remember, check your fridge and pantry before going to the grocery store to see what you already have. If a food is expired, just check for mold and you can still eat it if it still looks okay. You can bring any canned food to a pantry if you don't want to eat it, or put it in your car to hand out to someone who does need it. Compost or reuse the food if you can. Thank you all for joining me today and reading this book and learning about food waste and how you can preserve your food better and still eat leftovers. Bye.